Hey, did you know that young people between the ages of 20 and 29 are leaving Florida in record numbers? And it's not because they don't love the sunshine, it's because they can't afford to live here anymore. Between rising rents, sky high homeowners insurance, and wages that don't keep up, they're forcing the young people out. And when they leave, Florida loses its future workforce, its innovation, and its energy. As your next congressman, I'll fight to bring down the cost of living by tackling the insurance crisis, investing in affordable housing, and pushing for wages that match today's economy. Florida should be a place where young people can build their lives and not be forced to leave.
Here are a few reasons why we decided to leave Florida. And if you're thinking about moving there, you're going to want to watch this video. And part 2 and part 3. Number 1, though, is cost of living. So a little story time. We got an apartment in Tampa. It was like in a suburb of Tampa. So it was still about 35 minutes to 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour, from things that we really wanted to do, like the beach or even just see our friends. But this place, rent was manageable. It was okay. We had a 2-2. It was fine. Ultimately, we go to renew our lease because we really like our apartment and we have no reason to leave. We loved our dog park and everything that it offered, but we got a letter saying that they were raising our rent by $700. So we had to all of a sudden figure out how to move out of this apartment that we loved to a new apartment in Tampa. And let me tell you, that 60 days was excruciating. We couldn't find anything. Average price for a 1-1 in Tampa was going about $19.50, and a 2-2 anywhere from $2,300, $2,500, $2,600. It just went up from there. We did end up finding another apartment in Tampa. It was a 1-1, so we went from a 2-2 to a 1-1, but with a price difference of $200, $300, somewhere in there, depending on the month, because fees. To be honest, I didn't even like the apartment. But I will tell you, if you are somebody who's looking to move to Florida, just know that cost of living is absolutely insane there. Not only is cost of living as far as like an apartment or things like that, but if you're like trying to start a family or buy a house or anything like that, Florida is just so hard to do that right now. So it's just important to note. And to find an apartment, there are apartments popping up everywhere, but they are so expensive. And don't get me started on groceries or outings or gas, just cost of living.
Last year, over 500,000 people left Florida, and the headlines are wild. Insurance is insane, hurricanes are worse, it's becoming unaffordable, but here's the truth. Yes, insurance costs have doubled for some coastal homes. Yes, traffic, hurricanes, and higher costs are real.
Hi guys, this is Sina and you're welcome back to the channel. So they came for the sun but stayed for the struggle. From retirees to young families, thousands are now leaving Florida, not because they want to, but because they can't survive the rising cost. Insurance companies are pulling out, storms keep destroying homes, and the dream is collapsing under its own weight. What do you think, guys? Well, let's dive in and see people's opinions to this. But before we do, please do well to like, share, and of course, subscribe to keep the channel moving.
I no longer want to live in Florida, so I'm doing the thing I think a lot of Floridians want to do right now. At least the normal ones who are here before 2020. We are packing up and we are going to say goodbye. I am tired. I'm tired of suddenly looking like Californian with a bank account that is completely drained. I'm tired of being scared of actual road rage because the stress is getting to people. I'm tired of the quiet places suddenly filling with city. And I'm tired of not being able to spend the time I want with my girls with joy on my face. Now trust me, I've moved enough in my life to know that stress doesn't just disappear, but I do believe if you can't fix something and you know that, then you should keep trying something else. So we are picking up and we're going to the Midwest, downsizing everything, moving to an apartment. I literally cannot wait. I don't think a lot of Floridians want to say it, but I think people are thinking it. My husband has a job secured and I'm hoping to just work part-time so that I can raise the girls the way that they need to be raised. And I welcome you to follow us along for the journey to see if leaving Florida was actually worth it, because we're ready to say goodbye.
Florida is becoming impossible to live in, and I swear it's being done on purpose. And they're especially making homeownership so difficult. With the interest rates being as high as they are, we are also battling insurance prices being sky high, and people are completely priced out of homes that they could have bought 2 years ago or even last year. I have a friend that's selling her home because her insurance has increased over $10,000 in 1 calendar year with absolutely no claims. Car insurance continues to be high, and that's coming from somebody with a perfect driving record, no accidents. For the months of January and February, my electricity bill was over $250 for a 1,000 square foot condo, and I am not even running the heat when I'm not home. Even if you can't afford to buy a home, going into a rental is absolutely insane right now. I am currently looking for a new place to live. I pay $2,200 a month for that 1,000 square foot condo, and my rent is increasing to $2,300 unless I find a new place. Insane. And unfortunately, I'm stuck because there's no options in my kids' school zone that is in my price point. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the job market. I don't know if all these businesses took out PPP loans and they're just posting jobs for the heck of it to get the government off of their back or what. But I think this job market, at least in my area, and I mean, I've even for shits and giggles applied to jobs that I am overqualified for or my qualifications exactly match in other areas, and I am just not hearing back. I apply for anywhere from 3 to 5 jobs per day, any pay range. I don't care, any qualification, entry level. I will compete with anybody just to get myself into a stable position and get myself into the door. I do have a job. I am working retail right now, but it is not paying the bills, which really sucks because I do have a lot of fun at the job. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think the reason why Florida is so difficult to live in right now is because of the way they handled COVID. And I'm not talking policies. I'm talking the powers that be. Because we were thriving during COVID. Everything was fine. Job market was great. Everything was just flowing as if nothing happened and the rest of the country is struggling. I don't know, man. I'm over it.
People are leaving Florida in numbers, like packing up their yours, selling their houses and saying, I'm done. And the reasons.
Florida retirees are cutting out of Florida. They're getting out fast. They're getting out because it's just too expensive. Where are they going? They're going anywhere but Florida. That's right. They're even selling their condos. The new laws are coming up soon, and a lot of seniors are going, we're out of here. Where are they going to? They're going to Alabama. They're going to Georgia. They're going to Louisiana. They're going to Phoenix, Arizona. They're going any place other than hanging around Florida. Why? It's just gotten too expensive. You know, some of these HOA fees, they're going to be changing next year, and some of these assessments are going to be huge. And no one's talking about it. No one's saying anything about the huge assessments coming out throughout South Florida. And why aren't they talking about it? That's the thing I want to know, because a lot of people are going to be stuck. If you have a condo and you're assessed $75,000, $100,000, what are you going to do? You're going to just come up with here's the $75,000? There's a lot of people in trouble. There's a lot to talk about.
I am seeing more and more people leave Florida because of the crazy taxes that they have down there. Regardless of not having state income tax, it's more expensive to live because the property taxes are outrageous. The insurance for vehicles is outrageous. The insurance for homes is outrageous because of the hurricanes. So people are deucing out. They are getting out of Florida and heading north, like you, Vermont. So I hear you, man. I'm hearing more of that story every day.
Many can no longer afford to live in Florida and are leaving the state. Our parents and our grandparents moved to Florida as an affordable option for retirement, but it's no longer affordable for so many, and they're leaving the state for more affordable states. Citizens Insurance just approved yet another double-digit increase for Florida's residents, and housing costs are now around the national average after several years of massive price increases. That alone isn't a big deal, but Florida has always been a big deal because of the affordability. Today, Florida has the highest cost of home insurance and the second highest cost of auto insurance in the entire nation. Now, it's true that Florida still has no income tax, and that's a big deal. But when you consider the cost of insurance and the cost of property taxes, which have doubled for many here in Central Florida in recent years, it's worth asking yourself if the cost of the Florida sunshine is worth it any longer.
South Florida is the third most fled area when it comes to people moving. Pods did a study. The Pods, when it comes to the moving company that moves people, they did a study, they analyzed it, and Florida was the third most fled place of all places other than Los Angeles and San Francisco. So, not sure, but the data shows that people are just deucing out from Florida and California. It's too expensive. natural disasters happen more frequently there than other places, hurricanes that is. So if you're looking for a place to move, and they actually did in that study where they're moving to, the Carolinas. So 110 people a day move to Charlotte, North Carolina. You can Google that too. So if you're looking for a place to get out of Southern California or Florida, Carolinas is where it's at.
3 reasons why I'm getting out of Florida and moving back to my hometown. I know all you locals are excited to see me leave. Reason number 1 being my family. Fortunately, unfortunately, my family squats in Pennsylvania. That's just where they're at, so can't do too much about that. Number 2 is the weather. A lot of people move to Florida for the weather, and don't get me wrong, the sunshine is beautiful, the beaches are beautiful. However, I miss the seasons. I explained this a little bit in a previous video about taking an animal out of its habitat. That's kind of the best way to explain how I feel when it comes to the weather here. Reason number 3, Florida people are crazy. But locals, don't you worry, cause I might become a snowbird.
Welcome to Florida, where we spend 3 months out of the year wondering whether or not our homes will be destroyed because of a hurricane. I don't think having to check the Hurricane Center website every morning is good for my mental health, okay? It's got to be the worst form of doom scrolling, but we have to do it. I have to stay informed, because you never know what these systems are going to do. One morning they're not a threat at all, and then the next day they're headed right for your home. Maybe it's because I'm older now, but I do not remember hurricane season being this stressful. I remember we used to joke as Floridians we go to hurricane parties. It was kind of like a get-together thing, but that was long before Category 4 and 5 storms were as common as they are today. Last year, I got flooded. In fact, it was the night we landed from Europe. My camera roll literally goes from European vacation vibes to pictures of flood damage. I went from spending the night in Europe to spending the night in 2 feet of water. And I don't recommend that to anyone, okay? And somewhere along the rebuild, I realized this. I'm not built for this, okay? This level of stress on a daily basis is not doable for me. But I don't think this is weakness. I think this is awareness. I'm done pretending that this level of daily stress is sustainable. So I gotta know, how are we dealing with hurricane season this year? How are we coping with the stress? Because we are just getting into peak season, and I am already not doing well. I love where I'm from, and I love this state's natural beauty, but I don't love what it's becoming. I was born and raised in the state of Florida, and I'm thankful for that. But this is not the same state that I grew up in. And the day we get to leave, we are leaving and not looking back. And most importantly, we're going to be leaving this hurricane season stress behind.
Well, are people moving out of Florida? According to the popular moving and storage company Pods, they are. Fox 13's Ariel Placencia joins us live in Tampa after spending the day looking at the ongoing trends Pods published with its customer data. And Ariel, when it comes to Tampa, they said what they found was surprising.
That's right, because recently Pods had Tampa on its top cities that people are moving to. But now, for the first time ever, Tampa finds itself on the list of cities that people are now leaving in the year 2025. Summer tends to be a pretty busy time for All About Moving Tampa Bay.
We will pick up Pinellas, Hillsborough, anywhere, and deliver anywhere in the United States.
But the Largo Moving Company has noticed something new this year.
We always get a lot more out-of-state moves around this time because school's out, but this year is almost double.
That seems to support what Pods found when analyzing ongoing trends. The moving and storage company ranked the top 20 cities with the highest number of move-outs. Basically, what cities are people leaving this year? Tampa Bay came in at number 16 because of, quote, soaring prices, traffic, and the increasing risk from hurricanes.
Mainly from the beach areas is where we're seeing a big number moving out.
And where are Floridians going?
North Carolina, South Carolina.
That's what Pods found too. 6 Carolina towns made the top 20 cities people are moving to this year.
Georgia, the Carolinas, and Tennessee, those are the big hot spots now. I mean, a huge influx of people heading out there.
Bay Area realtors have noticed the trend too. They say there is a lot of inventory right now.
And we have listings just sitting there, even at like huge price discounts.
But there are plenty of moves happening within the state as well.
Honestly, you know, you've got a lot of sellers that if they do stay in the Florida market, they're trying to go to higher ground.
Buyers seem to be influenced by the hurricanes.
Mainly families we see and older couples are moving more inland.
When I am outside of America, I am shocked at how much of a bubble we all live in. So many people, when I tell them I'm from America, their first response was, I'm sorry. I'm from Florida, and that is like the bubble inside of the bubble. Let me paint a picture for you. The prevailing fashion trend in my state is to wear political clothing, and it's always the politics that is really bad. I feel like I'm on an island down there. I am not surrounded by like-minded people, and I can't wait to make my exit plan. Me and my girlfriend are moving to Portugal together ASAP, and it cannot happen soon enough. Totally get there are closed-minded people everywhere, and that is just a fact of life, but it just super feels like right now in the States, it is getting worse or more prevalent. And when I tell people that we are leaving the country, a lot of times in Florida, they get really defensive. They're like, why would you ever want to leave the States? What's wrong with you? It's dangerous in Portugal. You can't go there. Side note, Portugal is the 7th safest country in the world, and the US ranks way lower on that list. Not having to scan for exits when you're in a public place is such a sigh of relief, but that's for another video. In fact, most people I tell that I'm moving to Portugal don't even know where it is on the map. So it's okay to look outside the bubble. Okay, life doesn't have to be scary. Moving to another country doesn't have to be scary.
So guys, they saw Florida as the land of freedom and sunshine, but freedom means nothing when you can't afford to live there. The state is changing, and for many Americans, the escape from paradise has already begun. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Please do well to like, share, and of course, subscribe to keep the channel moving. Till next time, bye!